Welcome to this installment of How to Sound Hip over the 5 chord, in which we're going to talk about playing outside. As you may remember, the premise of this series is that the 5 chord, being the furthest away a chord progression can get from the root, naturally creates harmonic tension in a song. As improvisers, we can add to this tension by altering the notes of the 5 chord, subtly or dramatically, thus adding interest and intrigue to our phrases. So far, we've discussed taking the dominant arpeggio and adding the 9, the flat 9, and the augmented 5th, and today we're going to get wacky. Now before we do, my name is Tim and I help busy adult guitar players become confident jazz improvisers without the gatekeeping or theory overload we're used to encountering in the jazz world. Just simple exercises and short practice sessions that will help to unlock true improvisation skills. If you like the sound of this, I've got a brand new community that you can join completely for free, in which we get together for live tutorials, Q&As. It's also a forum where we can share our favorite albums, players, or practice insights, and chat and collaborate with like-minded jazzers all across the globe. I would love for you to join us. The link is in the description below. Meanwhile, back to our topic of the day. Now, there are many different approaches to playing outside, but today we're going to examine a simple one by way of an example from our Jazz Guitar Grandaddy, Django Reinhardt. The approach in question is playing a half step away. Now, some of us might be familiar with this approach and may have even been bold enough to try it, only to be left bewildered and defeated. This is because if you don't know what you're doing, it's a recipe for sounding, well, like you don't know what you're doing. After all, deliberately soloing in a key a semitone away from the song you're playing over is a bold move, reserved only for the genius or the madman. And genius is a rare quality. Now, this is why we're going to examine a true genius at work. The Django example we're about to listen to comes from his tune Django's Tiger, and it happens over the 5 chord. It's in the key of A, and the lick is over an E7 chord, and it goes like this. Now, let's hear that again. Now, this is an absolutely perfect execution of the half step away method, and the reason it works so well is down to 3 components, all of which are absolutely necessary in order to pull it off. Let's look at these now. Now, the first component is this. Django begins his sequence by firmly establishing the harmony. The chords move from the 1 to the 5, and as soon as he hits the 5 chord, he outlines it beautifully with a lick from the dominant 9 arpeggio that we looked at in our first video. By the way, if you haven't checked out our first video, it's linked above and in the description below. There's the dominant 9 arpeggio over E. And his lick goes like this. Now, the second component comes in when we step out of our key center and move up a half step. Django moves confidently up a semitone and crucially repeats the same lick. That is, it's the same arpeggio and rhythm, but now it's in the key of F. Now, over an E7 chord, your ear hears this as wrong, but somehow doesn't object. Why is that? Because Django's using a rhythmic and harmonic motif. He's made us familiar with the notes, the intervals, and the rhythm because we've just heard it in the correct key. When it's repeated in the wrong key, our brain naturally goes right along with Django without protest. He's already built the world in which the lick worked, so now that he's using it outside, it still sounds strong and confident instead of sounding mad or amateurish. Now, the third component is probably the most crucial of all 3. After we've untethered ourselves from our key center and boldly gone rogue, what we must absolutely do, if we're not to be considered madmen, is resolve back to the original key. If we don't do this, we just linger out in no man's land and it sounds like we've suddenly got the chords wrong and become lost. What we do now will make or break our attempt at hipness. Now, Django does this by continuing down from the last note of the lick in the wrong key to the closest available note in the correct key. before once again outlining the 5 with a similar dominant lick. before resolving to the 1 chord. So again, the formula, there's our 5 chord E7. Django outlines the E7 with the 9 arpeggio. Then repeats the same lick half step above before resolving it back to the 9 of E7. There's our E7 reiterated again, just to bring us back to the key center. And then he resolves to the 1 with a beautiful lick to take us back to A. Now, this is an absolutely perfect way to create some real interest and playfulness over an otherwise static 6 bars of E7. Now I'm going to try a little example over the tune that we've been working on, Perdido, in B flat, and this is what it sounds like. Once you know how the magicians do this trick, you'll begin to hear it all the time from your favorite players. For example, here's exactly the same thing from Cannonball Adderley on Miles Davis's Milestones. You can try this yourself with a simple lick of your own creation, and don't forget the golden formula. Number 1, play a line or lick to outline the harmony of the chord you're playing over. Number 2, play the same lick again, or a similar lick, a half step away, and then resolve it back to the original key with the closest note from the real chord. Then number 3, re-establish that harmony with another inside lick. There you have it, my friends. Have fun and tune in for next week's episode of 5 Chord Madness, where we'll finally discuss the altered scale and how to use it tastefully. In the meantime, come join our free jazz guitar community. The link is below. I share the tabs from this video and others. We do live tutorials and Q&As, and you can hang out with jazz guitarists all over the world. We'd love to have you. Okay guys, catch you in the next one.